Well, it's time to do the brakes. I think it might be a little tricky. We're going to use the existing 36 Ford mechanical linkage brakes. All the brakes have been rebuilt previously. I still need to check previous owner, but they seem to work. But I think that would look kind of cool with the linkages. I guess it's just a matter of running the main rods to the assembly to make sure all that works right. So there's going to be some angles to figure out, which not the way I want to start the day, you know. So to the brakes, and I forgot to mention we hit 100 subscribers last night. No, it's not the best numbers, but from where we were at, I remember like at 9, and just watching it slowly creep up. It's a milestone for me. I mean, come on. Again, we need to get up to like 1,000 at least so I can get some cool t-shirts. But thank you for subscribing. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. I greatly appreciate it. So here's the 36 Ford mechanical brake system laid out. Kind of see how it goes. We have our pedal assembly, and we have our rear linkages that sends all the rods to the front and the rear. So now we got to figure out how to piece this together. So this is the front of the rods. Here you can kind of see this clips into outside the brake drum, runs back, and here's our whole assembly. Like these go to the front, these two go to the rear, and this is for the brake. And here's our brake and clutch assembly here. This will run back to the clutch. So we got to figure out how to mount this into that. First problem, that didn't take very long. So we go with our existing rods. I was hoping I could just use the same rods and just run them from the brakes back and then, or up to the lever and then back, and everything would be good. But that would end up putting the main plate back here. And with these standing off, it would put the brake pedals like right here, which is like wasting about a foot or so. So I'm gonna have to cut these down for clearance and stuff like that. But we need to get that as close to this as possible. So we'll probably have to use the ends of our rods, and we'll just have to make new rods or something like that. So I guess the first step is we need to mount this where I want it. And then we can always change the length of this brake rod here that goes back. Not worried about the clutch because we'll figure out that later. So yeah, I guess we figure out where this goes, cut that down, get that where we want it, and then we can figure out where we're going to mount our little actuator levers, rods, whatever. So okay, well, is what it is. So I'm making a few pieces of tube, and I'm making some brackets and a few other little things. I'm not showing you to do that. You've already seen all that kind of stuff. But again, if you want to see that kind of stuff, let me know, and I can do that. But I'm going to keep compiling a bunch of little assemblies, and then I can pull out the welder and do it all at one time. I'm going to use the plasma cutter. I'm going to cut out these two gussets and part of the bottom part of the tank here. That way I can work on the lever assembly for the brakes. And then once I get that cut out, I should be ready to start welding in the pieces, and then hopefully get to the point of having some functional brakes. It's not always as easy as it looks, just to, especially in the space that I'm in, to use the welder, because it's 220, so I have to run big cord into the dryer and then come out here and do it. I only have 2 plugs in this whole garage. It's not the ideal setup, but I'm using what I got. So it is a pain to have to stop what I'm doing, go plug everything up, change it all, run it out. It's just, it gets old. But been looking for a place, just haven't found one yet. So anyway, all right, we're gonna cut this stuff out and then keep going. Now I thought I hit the record button when I used the plasma cutter to get the majority of it. But when I was done, I looked up at the camera. I was like this, so you didn't really miss much. I'm gonna take the cutoff wheel and get through a few of the little spots, and then we should get this little section out. Can't even see. Whew. All right, let's see if we can. There we go. If I need a internal belly tank gusset, it's yours. Okay, so now that this is out, we'll be able to make another arch through here. We have a flat plate, and that's what our assembly is going to hook through. And then we can have our rods shooting off to where we need it. We have our bottom hoop made, so we're going to go ahead and get this welded in through here, which will be an internal bottom structure, and then we can weld our brake pedal clutch assembly onto this, which will be in this little group here, and then we can figure out a little strut there to get that contained, and then we can move on to the other type of stuff. So, oh, it's a cold one today. I tell you what, we're supposed to get snow last night, but we just got rain. It went north of us, so some people enjoyed that, but I kind of like the snow, honestly. All right, we got our little shims down here, so we're off the tank a little bit. Let's get our magnet over here. Oh, let's get this magnet here, and we'll get it kind of pushed up where we need it to go. Go left a smidge. Yep. There's that. We got good clearance there. I think we're a little ahead there. Okay. Maybe a smidge more. I think I need another shim. I have a whole cup of these like little brass or something plates, super thin, but I don't know where I got them, but I've had them for years. But they're good for this exact purpose right here. Let's get one under there. Oh, there, that's tight. There we go. I like that. Okay, so let's push you. Ooh. Okay, like that. So we're gonna get weld there, and then we'll continue on. Well, I was having a nice little conversation with you, explaining everything about our brake pedals, and we're going to cut them and shorten them and everything else. And I guess it wasn't recording. Stupid. Ugh. Can't wait to upgrade, but whatever. So anyway, our bracket's in. We got it tacked on both sides there. Now we're going to make a little supporting piece probably from here to here just to kind of stiffen it up. And then we'll come from this back piece here straight up into here somewhere. And then once that's done, I don't know if we'll cut these today or not, but here by the end of this video, those will be cut and put back in. And then we're going to work on getting our lever assembly in. So I'm going to go ahead and get us a little gusset for that. Now, I don't know about you all, but I have a hard time throwing stuff away that I think I can use. So I have like little plastic, cheap, like dollar store plastic totes that I got flat bar in of little angle pieces, round tube, anything, and that you never know when you're gonna have it. So this was already left over. I don't even have to mess with it. So I can just weld this onto here. That's what I'm talking about. But that'll hold her. Yeah, once we get a lot of this fab stuff done, tank's gonna drop out, and then we can go through and get everything welded up and cleaned up, and we'll be good to go. I might be able to get one more piece in there. We'll see. Yeah. Giddy up. All right. Perfect. I guess while we're here, we might as well go ahead and just a little piece here. Then we know that that section's done. We have our piece cut. That's going to go from the top of the pedal assembly bracket up to the top tube. We did was we cut our relief. Flip it this way so you can see it. So it'll sandwich on like that. Problem with that is you're going to have that big gap. So we did some relief cuts here. You can see that big gap there. We're going to hit these 3 center ones down, and then we can weld it up and it'll close it off, kind of like a little tapered tube. We're happy with that. So there we go. Looks pretty crude that way, but once we get it welded and cleaned up, it'll work perfect. Okay. So there. So we can go ahead and we'll get this unbolted, and then we'll get some more welds into this. Or maybe we'll go ahead and mark this to cut this off. I don't know. But this is in, so we're good. Well, I had to do a voiceover on this section because the microphone wasn't working for some reason. So is what it is. Went ahead and took some tube and cut a few little bends in it and made our some square tube to mount to our actual mounting plate. Get that kind of tacked in. That way we can kind of scoot it where we need it to before the rods. So this will be our main little supports. In the back, we'll do some more gussets, but we will have the tubes will be supported by other tubes that are running up for the internal skeleton. So that'll make this nice and tight. All right, so we have made some temporary little braces here. It's just tack welded here. That way we can kind of tweak it where we need to slide this assembly back and forth. If you look down here on the bottom, oh, sorry, down there and there, that goes to the fronts. So we need to take for our left, we need to take this one, and it's going to come all the way back, and it's going to attach right here. So when you push the brake, it pulls this, and it locks the brakes. So kind of look here. We got to go from here, and then you see that hole there. Doesn't look that big, but it's a elongated hole. So I'll kind of show you how I got that measurement with that math, and kind of go ahead and start getting these pieces in, because I needed these rods in so I can adjust this where I want it instead of having to modify everything. I can use the fronts and I can modify the rear, so I can slide this back and forth depending where that rod hits. Not that you'd know it, but this is literally the 4th time I'm going to do what I'm going to show you. Phone did an update, and then it brought back a bunch of old messages, and my storage was full, and it wouldn't record. I thought it was recording, and oh Lord, man. Okay, anyway, so you kind of see how we go from this, and we have to get back to this linkage here. So what I did, I attached our rod, which this was straight, but it's bent now. But I had kind of play with around and see how it would go. And if you look at the ends here, they're kind of tapered which way they need to go. So this is the left side, so it kind of jogs to the right to fit in. So what I did, I took the straight rod, and then I attached it to our brake lever. And then once it was attached to the brake lever, I ran it back and scooted this up until our end of our rod was where we kind of needed it and touching the tank. So once we kind of got that centered, then I looked on the outside to figure out where the rod was touching the tank, which was right here. I made a mark, and then I took a little level and kind of ran it from the rod here up to this mark and made another mark. So Then took a tape measure, measured from the rod, the center hole up to the center hole of the bottom of our bracket. It was like 2.5 inches. So then, bear with me, I put this on a mark where it touched the tank, and I took my level, came up 2.5 inches, and wherever this was level at, I kind of extended out till it was level, and then made a mark. So in theory, from that rod to where that's at, doing the math, up, down, whatever, it should come through about right through there. So I drilled a hole, which I was scared to do because I can't weld aluminum yet. It's on the list of learning to do and getting the equipment for it. Really tight on space, but that'll be down the road. So I drilled a hole, and then I tied some thin paracord around the lever, stuck it through the hole, lined it back through here, but you kind of see it was kind of like just a little bit kinked, which makes sense because of the angles and stuff like that. So I just kind of went up a little bit more, drilled a hole, and then used the air saw and cut it out, and then kept sliding the rod in and out to get to where it needs to go. That didn't sound right, sorry. Hell. So I finally got it to where it needs to be, and then once I stuck the rod in, it was kind of rubbing on our radius arm here. So that's why I kind of did the little jog in it to get me a good equal distance off this arm. And I'll kind of show you. I just barely stuck it in there. There we go. So let me get this in here, and I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about here. Where we at? I'm not hitting on. I'm on the other side of the rod. Hold on. Here we go. Take two. Ow. All right, so now we're going to put the pin in. Okay, and then down here, we're going to line that with our pin. Push that in. Okay, so then that's a little, let's straighten. We need to straighten that up. So this is straight. That's our goal, is for that to be complete 90. So that should be straight up and down there. And I'll kind of show you. I know we need to come over this way a little. Oh, well, let me show you it up close first. You ready to go for a walk? Okay. So there you can see the rods attached up through there. And then we're just going straight down. You can kind of see I got a good gap here, which is what I wanted. Yep, there we go. Through the hole, down through here, and we're attached right here. I know this, we got a gap here. I know just by test fitting it and by the look of this, I need to scoot this assembly that way. So I just have to unclamp it here and shim it that way. And then that's kind of where we need to be. And then we'll probably go ahead and tack this assembly where it's at, and we can work on our other rod, and then our front's done. But I hope that kind of makes sense of how I did that. If not, feel free to ask questions, and I can do a video kind of detailing it more or whatever. Just a little frustrated right now that I've done this so many times and it messed up, but you can kind of see. So we'll split off, have another groove here. It goes to that front brake and this one there. So heck yeah, might have some brakes with no engine. We have our rod hooked up, and then we measured from this gusset back to our plate on both sides and make sure that we were kind of square. It's about the best we could really do. What we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead and put our welds up through here on the other side down here, and that should keep that pretty good of where we need it to be, and then we can work on our other sections there. So not too bad. Again, I mean, I think this would be a whole lot easier if we were just doing the hydraulic brakes, but I'm kind of wanting to stick with that 50s, 30s, 40s, 50s types eras and stuff. So we had these, and I think it's kind of cool. So that's not to say we can't change it later down the road, but probably not. All right, let's get this. All right, there's there. Oh, I guess we need to put a weld. That would probably help if we actually welded our bracket in there. That'd kind of make me mad because this isn't welded to this yet. So, glad I saw that. I think I should be able to take that off now. There we go. All right, let's get it. I know we only have one brake rod in, but I want to kind of show you how it works. So when you actually hit the brake, this lever here is pulled forward, which will pull these forward. And if you see this is moving, I don't know if you can see the rod up there, but it's moving. So when it's like that the brakes are on. It doesn't take very much effort at all. So same thing with the backs. They attach up here to the top. And once you pull it that way, it's pulling and that rod's coming up and it's sensing the brakes up. So we have one brake so far. Now we just need to duplicate it. Now we just need to duplicate this rod, this hole up here to this side. Then our fronts will be done. Then we can worry about our rears. I know there will be some pressure on this, but really not too much. I mean, this is really stiff, but I might end up doing some gussets in the corners just on this. But we will have tube that runs from here up to this tube here all the way back. So we'll have a whole kind of skeleton. So everything will be nice and rigid. So one thing down. Get this knocked out. And then I think I might go ahead and work on the pedals. That way the whole front is done. And then we can worry about the rears. All right, before we keep going and jump forward, I have noticed when I do some of these that I repeat myself quite a bit. Nobody said anything. I just noticed myself. Sometimes you're your own worst critic. But the reason behind that usually, or sometimes, is there might be a day or two or hours from when I start doing something and I go back and finish it, or I need to rectify it a little bit, change it. Mainly that's me playing it out in my head. I talk out loud a lot to myself to kind of tell me what to do. I don't know, just to kind of work through the issues and the problems, things like that. So if I repeat myself quite a bit, that's why. It happens. It's good to talk to somebody, isn't it? All right, let's go. More work. All right, here's another view for you so you can kind of see the linkage and how it works. When you hit the brake, you can kind of see it goes back like that. So you're spinning and it's locked up, so you can't move it. We just did our same measurement, putting the brake rod on and running it over to where our mount goes, made a mark, and then looked to see where it touched the tank on the outside, made a mark, and did our line. We went ahead and measured our same measurements from the other side for our hole. So we're going to go ahead and cut that out and see what we can get. Tell you what, these little dollar store or whatever rulers that are flexible, man, they come in handy. Well, son of a gun. All right, we widened it just a little bit. And, oh, we got a notch down here. Forgot about that. Woohoo. All right. We slid the rod through and we needed a little bit more, which we knew we needed some on the other side. So we went ahead and trimmed both of those and kind of bent our rod kind of the same way we did on the other side. Go ahead and connect this front one real quick. And get the rear. And okay. So now we both have both. Looks like we got good clearance everywhere. We're going to make sure this is at a 90. I had this is the original rod that goes to the brake lever. I cut it in half last night, so the other half is up on the brake assembly, and we'll end up putting a rod through here. But we want to make sure this is at 90. So I'm going to kind of show you how the brakes work. So when we push the pedal this way, it's going to pull the assembly this way, hence bringing the levers back. Kind of see that. So now that I'm doing it, I can see it's barely rubbing here, so we'll end up cutting some of this out. But I kind of wanted to show you how the actual lever system works. So once we get this linkage on, we'll have a spring that forces the brake pedal back this way. And once we have the rears on, it'll keep everything kind of centered in at 90, our main levers here. But I'll show you how this works now. So both wheels roll. So then let's see if I can get them spin, and then we're going to hit the brakes. It stops. That was a hard brake. So let's see if we can do it slow. You can see it's slow. See? And then we have no movement. So we have front brakes. And actually right now it kind of goes almost right back to 90. So, whew, big step. One problem I think I might have with the rears is I don't have the rear radius arms in, because I'm going to use the originals, but I'm going to have to cut them in two different spots to turn it this way and arc it up this way to get it to the top frame rail. And I know those are fixed. I can't really bend a hoop in those. It would look silly. So I think I might wait and do the rear brake section after I get those arms in. That way I can kind of line up with them and then jog it if I need to. I don't think that'll be too difficult. I think the hardest part is what I just did. Yeah, we have front brakes, so cool. Next step, we're probably going to go ahead and cut the two arms off. Actually, no, first. See, man, that's why I think out loud, because I can play it in my head. I'm going to go ahead and make our center link from our assembly to our brake assembly, so I know exactly where that's at. And then once that's welded in, then I'll cut off both arms and shorten them. And okay, let's make a little assembly. So all I did here was had some solid round bar. Got these angles kind of where I want it to clear this, but be close. So once you push the pedal, once you push the pedal, it's going to lift it up a little bit. So put a little bevel there, a little bevel there. We're going to tack it, and then we're going to mark our spots for our pedals to cut out. Once we take this out, then we'll finish welding up this rod. Ooh, she jumped on me. That magnet's got to help do it. Let's try this one. Let's see, how can I hit that? That's a great weird angle. Woo! Boy, that splattered. The hell? I think it's that magnet that's getting it. Let's get you out of the way. Hopefully you're attached enough to don't break. All right, now let's... Well, that'll hold it. Let's get that whole thing out of the way. Let's get another one on this side. And that threw some stuff. Let's see. Yeah, it ain't going anywhere. Whew. Like how I blow. You like how I blow to get the smoke out of my way with my helmet down? It works really well. Okay, so let's get that there. So now, which this pedal can't move, it can move a little bit because we're gonna hit there. So we'll go ahead and figure out our cuts and then see what we can do. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and cut this arm off here, and the other one we're gonna try to cut it halfway through so we can kind of bend it up, and then we'll cut off these upper arms and slide them down to where we need it, make our marks, cut the excess off, and then we can tack them back onto here. So let's go ahead and cut this one off. I don't know if that's enough yet, but oh, nope, not yet. Here we go, starting to bend it. A little more. Yeah, there we go. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so now we're going to, I know we need to cut this arm off. So let's go ahead and cut the arm off, and then we'll see where we need to push it. All right, so we know, I think we need to set the clutch side up first. If you look at the pedal, it's got our assembly here. I wound up having to make some linkage or something and run back to the clutch. I don't know, we'll figure that out. But the main thing is we need to figure out where we want it, and then we can adjust the brake to be kind of at the same level or something like that. But we have this slope here, so that's kind of what we're trying to go against. Okay, so that's still high. Let's go here. That's quite a bit of throw there. Let's go here. Let me push that there. Oh. I think if we do that, let's get those brake pedals way out there. I don't know if I like that. So even if we take that all the way, which I don't think that clutch is going to go that far, I think that's where that needs to be. Actually, we just cut. Okay. Well, I think what we do, we go ahead and just cut this off, and then we're going to cut this assembly up right where it's at the top. Maybe. Or am I moving that, aren't I? Oh, I got to cut that off. Okay. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and finish cutting this off. And then we're going to cut this off right here above this notch. All right, so we're here at the clutch pedal. Take more than that. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So our clutch pedal is where we need it. We went ahead and cut our brake pedal down. Or at least get it kind of close. And then first I'm going to get you right there. Okay. Tack on it, and then we'll cycle it just to make sure we're not going to hit anything. That is called a healthy tack. So we got a bit more to go if we need to. Plus, with our pad out here, we'll be in front of that. So that's a plus. We finished welding up the rod and our pedals. So I guess now we need to sneak it back into here and see what we got. Hey, okay, that wasn't. Gotta get you out of there. Get up here, get up front. Dang it. There, now you got it. All right, here we go. Let's see. Let's just get one on here. Now, to be honest with you, the brake rods coming through the round tank, man, I took a lot of time think about how to do that and do it right without having this like gargantuan mess. But I think it worked out well. It's maybe 3/16 around it right now. So I'm completely happy with that. I just didn't want to have a line here and then have a big gouge over to the side, and that would just really bother me. But I think it turned out really well. There's that. And then once we get we'll get some little pedals or something to mount into this. These are actually top of the pedal right here. These are threaded. So we'll probably make something cool and thread into those. And that's going to actually push our pedal out just a little bit more too. But even at full extension, we're pretty flush with this mount right here. So I think that's a win-win. There's the hole. Oh, yeah. Where are we at? What we got to do? We got to come up. We got to come down. I can't see anything. Where are we at? Yeah, I'm completely blind here. Should line up pretty good, but I think we're racked a little. Oh, wait. There we go. There it is. Got it. All right, now you got to get out of the way. Here we go. Tell you what, man, you got to contort all kinds of stuff to get in here. Not working with a lot of space. Story of my life, man. Small garage. Ugh, come on, for real. All right, there we go. All right, so then we'll get this hooked back up. I'll find my little spring box. I got a box of a spring assortment so I can use on this brake pedal here. And see if we can find somewhere to hook that up too. Oh, maybe. All right, there's that. Yep. Okay, so there's our clutch. We need to hook this back up. There, I got a cotter pin there. I'm not setting it yet, but we'll set it in there. So, all right, so, oh yeah, we got good movement here. I'm liking that. So that's, oh, nope. And then worst case, if we even need to tighten it up a little more, we're threaded through here, and we can kind of cinch it up if we need a little more, because I do have a little bit of play there before it actually moves. So that's what I might do is take that and tighten this up a little bit to make that a little bit tighter. But man, I have front brakes. Digging it. Okay. Get that in there just to hold it for now. So like I said, I think I'm stopping on the brakes for now just because of the rear radius links. But I'm pleased with this. At least I could roll it and stop. Don't really have anything to sit on yet, but anyway, yeah, I think that's it for this one. Thank you for watching. More stuff coming soon. Like I said before, we're getting kind of to the standstill point on this until I can find a seat. Or again, I'm going to make one. I'm trying to hold out and don't want to make one if I can find one, but I'm going to have to cut the line off somewhere. And again, the engine and transmission, if y'all want to look, I'm close to the Louisville, Kentucky area. I don't mind to drive to pick up something as long as it's not, West Coast, something like that. But any help's appreciated. Got any questions, comments, likes, dislikes, let me know. If you want to see something, more details or something, I can break it apart for you. But anyway, again, thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe real quick. I greatly appreciate it. Numbers are creeping up slowly, so we're getting there. Have a good one. I'll see you next time.